Hello there, folks. Hope you're all doing well here at Sandy Hook, New Jersey, the end of the Jersey Shore, just like, not far from New York City, and really cool area, interesting habitat. And check out this prickly pear here. So these things are everywhere here. These eastern prickly pear just growing wild, but I have not seen any this size yet. This is like a jumbo prickly pear. It's insane, the size of this. So that's like a crazy big prickly pear. Crazy. So you can see over here as well the this like fort or bunkers, whatever that is. There's lots of military ruins around here because it's, I think it was like some sort of base like in World War I at some point. Really cool though. Check this out though. Oh, it's prickly pear growing wild all along there. So, all over here there's prickly pear, and it's obviously really sandy here. You can see it's called Sandy Hook, and this area has grown a lot, like literally grown, because like the tides bring in tons of sand. So the lighthouse used to be right against the water, and then all this land's expanded, so really sandy. And because of that, the forest structure is different here. So while most of like New Jersey, this southern New Jersey is all pines, the pinelands, so it's all evergreen, which is really cool, kind of like the south. Northern New Jersey, or the northern, like, half to 2/3 of New Jersey is mostly deciduous forest, but here you've got lots of evergreens, mostly these junipers. It's just eastern red cedar, junipers virginiana, which are cool. I mean, they're kind of weedy in some places, but they are native and they grow really well in like sand. They grow well in a lot of places, but especially here, and you find them a lot in dunes and stuff. So really cool to see in winter, or close to winter, when everything else is dying or leafless. And I don't know what this is, but there's some cool like myrtle or something else. I think it's here. Like, it's like a cool broadleaf evergreen that you find up and down the East Coast, like New Jersey South or New York South. And just some cool evergreens, kind of like Assateague Island in Maryland. There's more like loblolly pines and stuff, but here there's a few pines, lots of junipers and stuff. So I mean, decently evergreen. Some parts are almost entirely evergreen, and then obviously you got this awesome eastern prickly pear here. So that is just massive prickly pear. Really cool stuff. So I always love seeing these in the wild here, and they are really all over. I mean, really everywhere. There's some dunes here that I've been to where you'll just see them all around. Let's go look for some more. So yeah, really cool. Check this out. Really cool. So here there's some old fort ruins. Yeah, old fortifications and stuff. And I think these were supposed to be like restored or something recently, but Superstorm Sandy, when it came through, I don't know how long ago that was, a number of years ago, sort of like damaged these again. So that's very unfortunate, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see. And then there's lots of old like other military structures, so pretty neat, pretty cool. Very cool. And then you can see the more prickly pear literally grown in the fence here. Super cool. So all along here, I mean, it's amazing how much there is. Like any wild area, they're literally all along here. Look at that, like in the grass. Crazy. So this time of year, they start to sort of shrivel a bit, and people think they're like dying, but it's just what they do in winter, because apparently it's to prevent the pads from freezing, because obviously, like any cacti, even though they're from a wet climate, they're succulents, so they're adapted to drought. So they need to be able to store a lot of water for long periods of drought when they don't get rain. But in winter, obviously, it freezes here. And unlike a lot of places out west where you'll see like, warms up a lot more during the day, there's a lot of, not so much here, but places further north and stuff, there's, or inland, there's extended periods where it doesn't get above freezing. So to prevent the pads from freezing, they shrivel up and I guess like release a lot of that water to prevent the pads from freezing, which is really interesting. And I think it was a viewer of mine that told me that. So pretty fascinating stuff. And so they will get that shriveled look. They'll sort of turn from a deep green color to they got a little purple on the pads, which is kind of cool. But yeah, they'll look a little more shriveled. Sometimes they're more, upright in the warmer months, and then they'll sort of droop down in winter, but that's just how they grow. Yeah, so pretty interesting. But I mean, they're kind of cool in the winter, seeing them all shriveled like that. And then they obviously plop right back up in springtime. So yeah, really, really cool. I'm sure there's lots more prickly pear growing in this these structures, which is pretty interesting. How ruined this area is. It's kind of cool. You can see more buildings down there, kind of abandoned. I think those are like World War I era. There's lots more fortifications in here, so really, really cool. So hazardous area there. Want to be careful where you step. Obviously, don't go in there, but hopefully they restore these, or at least keep them preserved. Pretty interesting. So this is probably, it's probably still like a 30-40 minute drive from New York at least, but it's like probably just a few miles across the water. If you drive, you got to go all the way around through other parts of New Jersey, but it's really straight across that way, across the water. So it's like a ferry from here. I think that's really close. So again, right near New York City, you got all this nature. And yeah, look at this, literally in like the grass here, this stuff's growing. So just showing, like, almost stepping on it here. Shows you how prolific these things are. So all over eastern prickly pear cacti, bunch of humifusa. So this was the first place I saw cacti on the East Coast. I remember coming here probably like 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, before COVID, before I started my YouTube channel, and seeing cacti there, and I was so confused. I was like, what on earth are these cacti doing here? And I asked a park service person who told me that they were they're native, like little cacti. And yeah, then obviously I got more into plants and learned about that. So I think there's some like classification disputes and stuff, but it's pretty widely accepted is that eastern prickly pear is the only native species to the Northeast. Once you go to like the Carolinas, maybe in Virginia Beach, and then obviously Florida, you get like lots of native cacti. There's actually some tree cacti native to the Florida Keys and South Florida. So even though people think it's like really wet and humid, that'll like rot all the cacti, but no, there's native cacti down there. So cacti are really adapted to quite a wide range of habitat. They generally prefer like sandy soil and stuff, but a lot of them can take heat and humidity and rain, so it's pretty interesting. You can just see all this prickly pear here. Look at that. Super cool. Yeah, just awesome. These ones are still pretty upright. It's interesting. I guess they haven't really had a lot of freezes here yet, a lot of frost. But it's pretty chilly right now. Cold weather's on its way, so yeah, like to subscribe for more videos, folks. Stay tuned and take care. And yeah, if you're checking out some of these places up to even Cape Cod, coastal Massachusetts, you'll see wild eastern prickly pear cacti. So really, really awesome.